Hi, my name's Melissa, your free range psychic, and I am going to do a reading today on Alexander Acosta. And the kinds of readings I do, I get the cards psychically from my guides, and then I ask them what those cards mean, why they chose them. So I thought I would give us a little bit of background on Alexander Acosta. To me, he's kind of he doesn't really get my interest too much, except that he is part of this, cabal of people that are connected both with Trump and Epstein in their own way. And it's interesting because Alexander Acosta, researching him, he had some really positive traits, or if not traits, things that he accomplished that I was surprised about, and then very negative ones. So he's a mixture. Trump seems to bring out the worst in people, even people who probably started out kind of okay. They have to fall to his level. I'm not sure if that's true about Alexander Acosta, but you'll see what I mean when I read you his background. So he was born Rene Alexander Acosta, January 16th, 1969, and I'm reading from a Wikipedia biography of him. So he's an American attorney and politician who served as the 27th United States Secretary of Labor from 2017 to 2019. President Donald Trump nominated Acosta to Labor Secretary on February 16, 2017, and he was confirmed by the U.S. Senate on April 27, 2017. He's the only Hispanic to have ever served in President Trump's cabinet. A member of the Republican Party, I say Republican, he initially was appointed by President George W. Bush to the National Labor Relations Board, and later served as Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights and U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida. He is the former Dean of Florida International University College of Law. So in 2007-2008, as U.S. Attorney, Acosta approved a plea deal that required Jeffrey Epstein to plead guilty to a state charge of a solicitation for the purposes of prostitution involving a 14-year-old girl, a deal which required he register as a sex offender and pay restitution to victims as part of a federal non-prosecution agreement. The prosecutors had identified 16 victims of Epstein, most of them having no prior knowledge of the agreement and no opportunity to give input. The deal had been the subject of long-term criticism by the Miami Herald and others. Acosta's involvement in the Epstein plea deal received renewed scrutiny following Epstein's arrest in July 2019 on new child prostitution charges. Acosta resigned as Secretary of Labor on July 19, 2019. So July 19th, it seems like it was weeks and weeks ago, but it's only the 21st of July. I think he announced his resignation like a week before then, and he officially resigned on the 19th. Wow, time in the epic of Trump. Acosta is the only son of Cuban refugees. He's a native of Miami, Florida, where he attended the Gulliver Schools. Acosta received a Bachelor of Arts degree in economics from Harvard College in 1990 and received a Juris Doctor degree cum laude from Harvard Law School in 1994. He is the first member of his family to graduate from college. Following law school, Acosta served as a law clerk to Sam Alito. While in Washington, Acosta taught classes on employment law, disability-based discrimination law, and civil rights law at the George Mason University School of Law. On December 31st, 2013, he became the new chairman of U.S. Century Bank, the largest domestically owned Hispanic community bank in Florida, and one of the 15 largest Hispanic community banks in the nation. During his tenure as chairman, U.S. Century Bank had its first year in profit since the start of the Great Recession. Acosta was a member of the board of trustees of Gulliver Schools, where he served a past term as board chairman. Under the heading of Bush administration, Wikipedia, or whoever wrote this for Wikipedia, states Acosta served in 4 presidentially appointed U.S. Senate confirmed positions in the George W. Bush administration. From December 2001 to December 2002, he served as Principal Deputy Assistant Attorney General in the Civil Rights Division of the U.S. Department of Justice. From December 2002 to August 2003, he was a member of the National Labor Relations Board, for which he participated in or authored more than 125 opinions. And I guess we can go back and look at them if we're really interested to see, where he was at with that. I haven't. Then he became the Assistant Attorney General for the Civil Rights Division on August 22, 2003, where he was known for increasing federal prosecutions against human trafficking. Acosta authorized federal intervention in the Oklahoma religious liberties case to help assure the right to wear a hijab in public school. And worked with Mississippi authorities to reopen the investigation of the 1995 death of Emmett Till, a 14-year-old black youth whose abduction and killing helped spark the civil rights movement. He was the first Hispanic to serve as Assistant Attorney General. The Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions held confirmation hearings on March 22nd, 2017, and Acosta's nomination was reported out of the committee on March 30th, 2017. Well, he was pretty well qualified, at least, for Republican candidate, and plus he had some interesting, I almost want to say liberal, activity. So on April 27th, 2017, Acosta was confirmed as Secretary of Labor by the U.S. Senate in a 60-38 vote. I don't know, I haven't researched to see why people were objecting. That I should have probably done that. That would be interesting to see. He received the support of 8 Democratic senators and all Republican senators except Senator Pat Toomey, who did not participate in the vote. On April 28th, 2017, Acosta was sworn in by Vice President Mike Pence. So this is kind of weird. Noting his past history of increasing federal prosecutions against human trafficking in the George Bush era, in 2019, he proposed cutting the funding of his department's International Labor Affairs Bureau from $68 million in 2018 to under $20 million in 2020. So here he is, he's asking to cut funding for investigations into human trafficking, including child sex trafficking. During Acosta's confirmation hearing, he discussed the need and his support of apprenticeship as a workforce development to close the skills gap. So he's a real proponent of apprenticeship in government. So it's I was surprised. I didn't expect to find such a mix of Acosta's activities. I thought it would be one way, or not the other. I thought it would be extremely, right wing and libertarian, but it wasn't. So here's a timeline, just to also give a background of Epstein's legal troubles. So 1999 to 2002, Virginia Roberts, Jane Doe 3, claims she served as a sex slave for Jeffrey Epstein and was required to engage in sexual activity with him and a number of his high-profile friends. March 2005, authorities in Florida launched a probe into Epstein after a mother calls and alleges that her daughter was molested at his Palm Beach estate. May 2006, a probable cause affidavit is filed by the Palm Beach police force after the sexual battery investigation into Epstein, Sarah Kellen, and Haley Robeson. It was Haley Robeson sworn. It charges Epstein with 4 counts of lewd and lascivious behavior for unlawful sex with a minor. 5 victims and 17 witnesses were interviewed and alleged that Epstein engaged in unlawful sexual behavior. Sworn, meanwhile, was accused of profiting by providing young girls to Epstein, while Kellen was tasked with keeping a black book containing the names and contact information of these minors in her capacity as Epstein's assistant. May 2006, Barry Kirshner, the state attorney in Palm Beach, refers the case to a grand jury. June 2006, the grand jury returns an indictment of one count of solicitation of prostitution. This charge does not reflect that the individual in question was a minor. Only one girl testifies in front of the grand jury. July 2006, the Palm Beach police chief grows increasingly annoyed as he watches the lack of progress in his investigation. His investigation is making in the legal system and convinces the FBI to open a federal investigation. It's dubbed Operation Leap Year, and the possible crime being probed is child prostitution. November 2006. Operation Leap Year picks up steam as the FBI begins interviewing potential witnesses and victims from the 3 states where Epstein owns property: Florida, New York, and New Mexico. And that property in New Mexico is being investigated as it's a ranch, as a human trafficking locale. So June 2007, the U.S. Attorney's Office drafts a lengthy indictment as the federal probe of Epstein comes to an end, while at the same time Epstein begins negotiating possible plea deal. July 2007, a new set of grand jury subpoenas are issued, including ones from Epstein's computers. When police go to execute those subpoenas at Epstein's Palm Beach home, they discover they have all been removed. August 2007, the U.S. Attorney in Miami, at that time Alex Acosta, joins the Epstein negotiation talks. September 2007, Epstein signs a non-prosecution agreement on September 24th after rejecting multiple plea deals. His criminal charges are then deferred to the Palm Beach County State Attorney's Office. October 2007, Acosta meets with Epstein's lawyer, Jay Lefkowitz. To finalize the terms of the plea deal, it's agreed that victims would not be notified, the deal would be kept under seal, and all grand jury subpoenas would be canceled, including for the one for Epstein's computers, which were still at large. January 2008, after months of demands, Epstein and his lawyers say they will no longer accept the plea deals because it forces him to register as a sex offender. February 2008, a civil lawsuit is filed against Epstein by an anonymous woman stating that as a 16-year-old minor, she was recruited to give Epstein a paid massage. She demands $50 million, claiming that she was then forced to perform sex acts on Epstein. March 2008, a federal grand jury presentation is planned following the FBI probe. Lawyers for Epstein begin harassing victims with phone calls, and one of his investigators is accused of trying to run a victim's father off the road. Sounds like a Lifetime movie. March 2008, maybe it will be a Lifetime movie. A second woman files a civil action against Epstein. May 2008, it is announced that with no plea deal in case, the federal case against Epstein can proceed. June 2008, on June 30th, Epstein pleads guilty to one count of solicitation of prostitution and one count of solicitation of prostitution. So one count of solicitation of prostitution and one count of solicitation of prostitution with a minor under the age of 18. Both are state charges, and he is sentenced to 18 months in jail. He will have to register as a sex offender. July 2008, Epstein's victims learn of the plea deal, but it will be another 10 years before they are informed of all the details, including the fact that the victim was 16. That victims were 16. Let me see that again. I'm not sure if this is making sense. Including the fact that the victim was 16 in the charge, which Epstein entered a guilty plea and not 14, like the women were led to believe. This allowed Epstein to avoid registering as a sex offender in multiple states like New Mexico, where he has a ranch. I didn't realize that. So he got out of, he had to in some states, but not in others. As an emergency petition is filed under the Crime Victims' Rights Act, which mandates that the victims be informed about plea agreements and the right to appear in sentencing the right to appear at sentencing, it was ignored. August 2008, Epstein's agreement cannot be unsealed for the victims to see. It is ruled in court, with federal prosecutors fighting to keep the records hidden from the public. October 2008, Epstein begins work release from the county stockade, where 6 days a week he is transported to an office where he is able to work and entertain visitors. He returns to the stockade in the evening. And the reason I did that is because I've been hearing that he continued his activities with young girls, allegedly. Or it's alleged that he was able to continue his his activity with minors during that time, which was pretty shocking. December 2008, a judge grants Epstein's request to travel to New York for a day and then an extended stay. He says it is for a court case, but after an initial filing, there is no follow-up in that case. July 22nd, 2009, Epstein is released from prison. So I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to get myself hydrated and come back. I'm back. So, in this reading, this is the subject card I got for Alexander Acosta. This is justice. This is Alexander Acosta under the scrutiny of the justice system, and it's interesting. The roles are flipped, where he was in this position, right, as attorney. And a very powerful attorney, high up there, U.S. attorney. He's now under scrutiny. He's the son, and here he's no longer in this powerful position. So that's the subject card. The above card is the Seven of Swords. So what my guide said is this is Acosta not disclosing everything. He's trying to get away with as little as possible in terms of the telling what was really happening. He's just going to give it the appearance of what he wants people to believe, but really he's not telling the full truth. And the past, and this is not just a recent past, but they said this is the plea deal, this Knight of Pentacles. That's everything that was going on with that sweetheart deal. And that is the reason why all this is happening, right? Why he had to resign and why he's under scrutiny. What happened with this deal, with this plea deal, which was really out of bounds, out in left field. And there are a lot of things that are not legal about it, that that people are saying that he broke the law, brokering this deal. So the motive card, or the subject, underneath the subject, what always comes up above or below, or in the subject card, is the Devil. So I asked my guides about this card, and I also underneath it. So this is from the Gilded Tarot. This is from the Rider-Waite deck. I wanted to. I'll bring this card out because I thought it was more descriptive, and I'll talk about that in a second. So my guides say that the Devil card means that Alexander Acosta is in league with Trump and Epstein, and they're ultimately in league with the devil, with evil purpose. People are wondering why Acosta helped orchestrate this lenient sentence regarding Epstein to the point where he was able to, go off and really pretty much do what he wanted to do and continue doing what he was in prison for doing. So my guides say, why? It's blackmail, hands down. That he actually broke the law because of a plea deal he brokered for Epstein because he's under so much pressure. And what was the blackmail about? And okay, this is alleged. Please, I'm not, saying this really happened or not. This is just what I'm hearing from my guides, or or people could say I'm intuiting, whatever. Please don't take this as fact, because it's not. But what my guides are saying is that, yes, Alexander Acosta was a customer of Epstein's, and had been for quite some time. Yes, he is, guilty of the same kinds of crimes, not in trafficking, but in terms of involvement in relations with these young girls. And there were cameras everywhere. There's lists. There's meticulous lists of everything that happened. The girls what girl went with who and when, all of that. And we know that, right? We've seen some evidence of that. So that's why he did this. This is what motivated him to step in and let Epstein off. And I thought this was an interesting card, because it also, to me, it is the card of human trafficking. And there's a man and or female and male here, and really the female, if you're really looking closely at it, she looks very kind of vulnerable. She's kind of in a passive mode, and here on the left-hand side is this male who's making an offer, and she's chained to him, and he's chained to her, and they're both, in essence, chained to the devil by this agreement. So that to me is really such an expressive card regarding human trafficking, and also being if you look at it, him as being Acosta, because of his involvement allegedly with young girls, he's involved with the devil, with activity that is nefarious and also illegal, and is his undoing. So I thought that was interesting. We'll see if that ever comes out or not. But that, and again, allegedly. So the future card, my guides say this is Acosta in the defensive mode. He's defending himself against all these charges. And in the clarifying card, this is Acosta surrounded by those swords. And basically, my guides are saying there will be legal charges and sanctions against Alexander Acosta because of breaking the law for Epstein regarding sentencing, which is a pretty serious offense. And the outcome card always comes up in these readings is the Tower and Acosta falling out of the Tower, and they reminded me that this is the Trump Tower, and not just Trump's tower in terms of his buildings, but his, Trump's tower that is being struck by lightning and toppling right now. and everybody in Trump's tower, is going to be jumping out one way or the other to their demise because of illumination, because of truth coming out. So that is the outcome card. So, and it made me think about how Trump, everything he touches, what turns to poison, right? He destroys. And how, people who may not have really fallen to that point or broken those kinds of boundaries or involved themselves in that kind of activity. I think of Hope Hicks. I don't really, it's hard to say, I don't know any of these people really, but would she really have broken the law to that extent to lie, for the president, if she wasn't tempted? This is all about temptation, and I'm not talking from like this classical Christian or Judeo-Christian viewpoint, because I actually, that's not my framework in terms of my own beliefs, but it does fall into that. This fall, everybody around Trump just falling, and of course, the orange one, the orange Cheeto, how he, that principle or that apocryphal idea of temptation, and how it, the hidden shadow in people, the opportunity, the people who are not normally, they may have the fantasies or the predilections, but in terms of having the opportunity, or having the crossing that line and actually starting involvement in activities that are clearly forbidden and clearly risky and dangerous and immoral and harmful to others. What is the dynamic where and this the pressure in the environment for people to cross that line, and then there they are. And I'm not saying that they're not responsible for the decisions. Of course they are, but there seems to be, not for everybody, not for the sociopath and narcissist, they probably just create those environments, but for people who normally wouldn't cross those lines, it seems like Trump creates an environment where people do, and maybe he not maybe, I think it's probably true, he requires it, just like Epstein would require it, that people do cross that line and join him in hell, join him in devilish activity, because it allows him to have control over them, because now they're was it tarred by the same brush? I don't know what that saying is, but I think that's it. Where they can't have autonomy from him, because now they're guilty of the same things he is. And you can see that down the line with everybody that has been involved with Trump, they cross that line. Look at Lindsey Graham. I mean, my God, look at Lindsey Graham now. It's so sad and so pathetic, and there he is in this situation, and then burning in the fires of hell of his own a departure from everything people thought at least Lindsey Graham stood for, to become this Trump sycophant, embracing his worst ideas and worst policies. How did that happen? So it made me really kind of think about that kind of, it made me think about those kinds of things regarding Trump that we're really seeing. And nobody is safe. If you're going to be in Trump's camp, then this is the camp you're going to be in. So that being said, I did ask for a card for us, an oracle card, and my guides, they chose a card from the Messenger Oracle book, because I asked them what oracle, because I have several oracle packs. And anyway, the card that they chose was this one, Nourish Your Soul. What a beautiful card. I think we all really need this right now, because sometimes we forget in the stress of everything and the difficult times that we live in, that we do need to nourish our souls. So I'm going to read from the Messenger Oracle book, and the Messenger Oracle is by Ravynne Phelan. So this card, according to Ravynne, let's see, nourish your soul. Drink in life. Use your senses to explore your world, to see, touch, taste, smell, hear, and experience all that is within you and around you. Your journey through life is meant to be a sensory experience. Your life is meant to be a rainbow of color, full of motion and sound. It's not meant to be a bland, tasteless existence, simply black and white. Be sensual. Explore yourself in your world every day and nourish your soul with every moment. And from this card, what my take on it is to really, stop for a moment and take in the beauty of what's around you. If you can connect with nature, if you can listen to beautiful music, music that inspires you, music that lifts you up, dancing, enjoying beautiful art or creating beautiful art, take part in that sensory dance. Not just, monotonous, routine, mundane activities that you're required to do. Life is a dance. Life is beautiful. So enjoy your senses. It helps you unify with all that is, with the dance of nature, the dance of life, and the dance of the divine. Plus, our souls need to be nurtured. They need to be nourished. What nourishes your soul? Think about what nourishes your soul, and is your soul nourished? And if not, what would it take to nourish your soul? What simple thing could you do to satisfy that need? Even a tarot reading, meditation, yoga, anything like that. A good book, laughter with friends is nourishing. So don't forget to nourish your soul. So that being said, it's July 21st, 2019. It is a hot, muggy day here in Michigan, but it was hotter yesterday. I think it was like 98 or 100 or something. I didn't go out. We lost our power. I think 500,000 people did in Michigan because we had these terrible storms. Typical Mercury retrograde, right? To lose your power right around the time of the hottest day of the year. But fortunately, for me, that my power came. I lost it overnight, but my power came back on the next day at like 11 a.m. So I hit it, and that was yesterday. That was the hottest day, so I was okay. I feel sorry for people who are still without power. Oh my God, this Mercury retrograde, it has been crazy. So many Mercury retrograde things going on right now. I'm just waiting for it to end. But at the same time, I know I told people in another video to find the beauty in it or the positive in it, and that's on me too to do that. So I will do a reading soon. I do personal readings. I do past life readings, readings in this lifetime, past, present, and future for this lifetime. I can help you contact the ones who've passed over. Also, I love to introduce people to their guardian angels. So I will put my information below. Please like and subscribe to my channel and share this video if you enjoyed this reading today. And I will be with you again very soon. You take care and keep cool if you can. Those of you who are dealing with the hot weather. Love you. Bye.